Welcome to the channel, y'all. This video is called How to Get Rid of Depression. And I'm making this video because of a phone call that I got today from a friend that, as of right now, is struggling with depression and just feeling like they don't have any worth and, feeling useless, basically. If you are somebody that's going through that, let me say this much. That's not possible. It's not possible to be useless. Don't assume you know enough about the world to think that a world that's so complex has room for anything with no use. Don't think that. Then it's just a feeling. So it's not real. We established that it's not real. Even a dog serves a purpose. Shout out to Damian Marley. If it's not real, then it's just a feeling. Where do feelings come from? Thoughts. It's a thought. One thing we know about thoughts, anybody can have any thought at any time. A thought is not a bad thing by itself, but the issue comes in when you repeat a bad thought. I'm not worth it, I'm worthless, all these things. When you start repeating that type of stuff, it becomes a belief. All the belief is something that you think enough times to where as though it's automatic. That's a belief. So we got to put that in there, because a lot of people think a belief is something like, oh, I studied this and this is the conclusion I came up with. That's not what a belief is. And most people have a bunch of beliefs that they never studied, never looked into. If you think that you are worthless, if you think that you don't have a use, then you're the prime example. Every person, every place, everything has a purpose. Now we're going to talk about the principle of mentalism, right? But we're going to keep it simple. All is mind. Mind, M-I-N-D, all is mind. What does that mean? Even an atom, which is the building block of the universe, is mostly information. There's almost no physical matter in an atom. Even the thing that makes up physical matter is mostly information and not physical matter. Well, when those things coagulate and get really, really, really dense, they become what we call matter. And we know from the double slit experience that particles change when they're being observed. They change the way that they behave when they're being observed. You know what that means, right? It means that when you start paying attention to what you think, you can change what you could build physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. And if you are struggling with depression or feeling unworthy, what do? First thing you do is you change what you think. How do you do that? You got to decide to pay attention, especially when you're feeling down and out. You got to start paying attention to what you think. And then the question becomes, does this thought serve me? How does this thought help me? If it doesn't help you, then you got to start working on thinking the opposite of that. Now we're getting into the principle of polarity, where when it comes to opposites, they're opposing sides. It means it's the same thing on the opposite ends of the spectrum. If you feel like you're not worthy of something, then you just go to the opposite of that, which is that you are worthy of everything. And that's the reason why you can even have that feeling, because it's really just frustration, because deep down you know you are worthy, but it's not showing up, so it's frustrating you. So I'm worthless then. Well, you have to stay neutral while you practice this, because you will go through all type of frustration if you don't. When you notice that you're feeling down and out, unworthy, you say, okay, what's the opposite of that? I am worthy of all these things. I am deserving of all these things. And then you dwell on those thoughts. And the thing about dwelling on those thoughts is weird. Remember, observation changes the way that particles behave. So the weirdest stuff starts to happen. You start to get these synchronicities and all these things. Start to notice things are a little bit different. And at first it might just be mental and emotional and spiritual. And then it start to be circumstantial. And you'll start to see little things happening. That's the coolest feeling in the world. And you still have to remember to stay kind of neutral, emotionally, stay neutral. Because one thing that happens is it always goes like this. The swing of the pendulum to the left is the same as the swing of the pendulum to the right. Stay with me. The more you got an ability to feel enthusiastic and happy and outgoing, that's the direct measure of your ability to feel the opposite of that. You got to keep that in mind. You got to stay neutral while it's swinging. All right, but with the principle of polarity, you shift the focus from this side of the spectrum to this side of the spectrum. And what that does is it changes your outlook on things over time. A short amount of time, you don't need much time. And when you change your outlook, you start to expect something different. Remembering to stay neutral, once you start actually expecting something different, you start to get different things. Remember, The act of observation changes the way the particles behave. So expect something different, get something different. And you can apply this to all things, but right now we're talking about depression. Once you do that enough, you'll naturally start to go from being over here as your default to heading over here, and your job is to try to seek balance. Even if you never find it, you don't need to find it. All you have to do is seek balance. And once you're here and you're centered, go ahead and get ready. Everything is going to change for you. Hope this video helped. Y'all tap in. If y'all like videos like this, let me know in the comments, and I'll drop more. Love and respect. Rakim, not them. I'm out. Peace.